Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridayantasto Ye Bhadrani Vidonoti Suhrichatam Nashtapraya Shabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, Texts 43 through 45. Text 43.
Prabhu, you like me to read, Prabhu, or you want me to read?
It's okay, Prabhu, I can read. Yeah. Thank you. Text 43. Narada Vacha Iti Daudam Pati Tatra Samudya Samayam Mita Tam Pravishya Purim Rajan Mumudate Satam Sama Narada Vacha Iti tau dampati tatra samudya samayam vida tam pravishya purim rajan mumudate satam shama. Translation and purport by Stephen Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, those two, the man and the woman, supporting one another through mutual understanding, entered that city and enjoyed life for 100 years. Purport: 100 years is significant in this connection because every human being is given the concession to live up to 100 years. The span of life is different on different planets, according to the planet's distance from the sun. In other words, 100 years on this planet is different from 100 years on another planet. Lord Brahma lives for 100 years according to time on the Brahmaloka planet. But one day of Brahma is equal to millions of years on this planet. Similarly, the days on the heavenly planets are equal to 6 months on this planet. On every planet, however, the span of life for a human being is roughly 100 years. According to the lifespans on different planets, the standards of living also differ. Text 44. Upagiyamano lalitam tatra tatra cha gayakai kriran parivratasribir pradimim avishachuchau upagayamano lalitam tatra tatra cha gayakai kriran parivratasribir pradimim avishachuchau. Translation. Many professional singers used to sing about the glories of King Puranjana and his glorious activities. When it was too hot in the summer, he used to enter a reservoir of water. He would surround himself with many women and enjoy their company. Purport: a living being has different activities in different stages of life. One stage is called Jagrata, or the life of awakening, and another is called Swapna, or the life of dream. Another stage is called Susupti, or life in an unconscious state, and still another stage occurs after death. In the previous verse, the life of awakening was described. That is, the man and the woman were married and enjoyed life for 100 years. In this verse, life in the dream state is described. For the activities Puranjana accomplished during the day were also reflected at night in the dream state. Puranjana used to live with his wife for sense enjoyment, and at night this very sense enjoyment was appreciated in different ways. A man sleeps very soundly when he is greatly fatigued, and when a rich man is greatly fatigued, he goes to his garden house with many female friends and there enters the water and enjoys their company. Such is the tendency of the living entity within this material world. A living entity is never satisfied with a woman unless he is trained in the system of brahmacharya. Generally, a man's tendency is to enjoy many women, and even at the very end of life, the sex impulse is so strong that even though one is very old, he still wants to enjoy the company of young girls. Thus, because of the strong sex impulse, the living entity becomes more and more involved in this material world. 645. Saptopari kritadvara purastasyastu dve ada pratagvishayagati artham tasyam ya kashaneshvara saptopari kritadvara purastasyastu dve ada pratagvishayagati artham tasyam ya kashaneshvara. Translation. Of the 9 gates in that city, 7 were on the surface and 2 were subterranean. A total of 9 doors were constructed, and these led to different places. All the gates were used by the city's governor. Purport. The 7 gates of the body that are situated upward are the 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. The 2 subterranean gates are the rectum and the genitals. The king, or the ruler of the body, who is the living entity, uses all these doors to enjoy different types of material pleasures. The system of opening different gates to different places is still evident in old Indian cities. Formerly, a capital was surrounded by walls, and one passed through various gates to go to various cities or towards specific directions. In Old Delhi, there are still remnants of surrounding walls and various gates known as the Kashmiri Gate, the Lahori Gate, etc. Similarly, in Ahmedabad, there is a Delhi Gate. The point of the simile is that the living entity wants to enjoy different types of material opulences, and to this end, nature has given him various holes in his body, that he can utilize for sense enjoyment. End of purport. Imam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I humbly seek the blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas, and thank you for the opportunity to purify myself by reading and summarizing from Srimad Bhagavatam today. I'll try to summarize based on Srila Prabhupada's purport and a few points I gathered from my lecture. So here in this chapter, we are seeing how the Puranjana, the allegorical character, is meeting um, Puranjini, or like the material intelligence, and how this whole discussion about sense gratification is being described in a allegorical format. So far we have seen how this lady that Puranjana meets is basically material intelligence, and then how she is protected by the five-headed servant and for five-headed serpent, which represents like the 5 hairs in the body, and then she has like 10 bodyguards, and then those bodyguards have like several servants. And in today's verse, we see how the whole body, the 9 holes in the whole body is explained. So in the verse 43, we see how there's a mention of Narada Muni is basically saying that these two, the man and the woman, supporting one another through mutual understanding, entered the city and enjoyed life for 100 years. So this whole section is talking about how the lifetime of a man or a woman in this world is at max 100 years. And even in verse 37, there was a mention about the the lady who's speaking to Puranjana. She says that, my dear Lord, I have just arranged the city of 9 gates for you so that you can have all kinds of sense gratification. You may live here for 100 years and everything for your sense gratification will be supplied. So this Prabhu in the lecture was saying that this kind of a statement is similar to someone saying that we can give you a beautiful house. Suppose there is a person who is looking for sense gratification, and then an offer is made to him, like, "Oh dear sir, you can have anything you want. We will provide you with a great house or a palatial house. We'll provide you with the most beautiful woman. We will provide you with all the wealth you want, all the comforts you want in life. But within your 100 years of enjoying that, it could be like first year, second year, 10th year, or 100 years, we will come and then kill you and then take everything from you that we have provided." So that is how this whole material nature is, that you could try to enjoy everything or anything, but then that's all futile, because suddenly death could come and then everything is gone. So we had a very, very temporary enjoyment in this material world. So similarly here, you can see the lady is saying, the woman is saying that, "Oh, you can live for 100 years, and then everything for his installation will be supplied." So this material enjoyment tendency is gives you pleasure only in the mind. I'm sure we have all gone through this, that we will really want something in the mind. We will think that, "Oh, if I get this car, for example, then life will be so great." And then Prabhupada uses this word many times, like phantasmagoria. Like when we think about something in the mind and we want to get it and we desire for it, then it gives us so much enjoyment. But actually, in reality, when we get that object, after a few days, we soon realize that firstly, it's not giving enjoyment like we thought, and after a few some time, it only gives us like actually misery. That, okay, if I get a car, then you have to maintain it, or if something happens with the car, then you have to spend more money to fix it, and then we soon realize that, oh, that's not the real happiness, and then we move on to another thing. And we know this whole dharma, artha, kama, moksha process that people go through. Like people perform dharma so they could get some artha, and when they get some artha, they want to use it to enjoy, which is like kama. And then they soon realize that nothing can be enjoyed in this material world. Everything only results in misery. And then at some point, they aspire for moksha. This is actual varnashrama system, where you go through the process and then you uh, go through the dharma, artha, kama, and ultimately end in the moksha, that you try to get liberation. But then people in this material world, like, if they don't follow dharma, because they don't want to follow dharma, they only want to get the artha and then enjoy the kama. But that's even worse, and you just get frustrated at the end of the day. So that's kind of the message in text 43. And then if you look at 44, it's basically talking about how Puranjana had many singers to, like, again, make him comfortable, and then enjoy his sense gratification. And also when it was too hot in the summer, then he used to enter the reservoir of water. So this is again an analogy or allegory for one's state of living. So the text 43, where we talks about the man and the woman enjoying for 100 years, is basically in the awakening state, or the woken state, when one is like awakened from sleep, when he's normally living. So when one has sense desires, then he can enjoy when he's in awake state. But then the 44 talks about the other two states, which are the dreaming and then the deep sleep state. So when one has like so many sense desires and he engages towards throughout the day in sense gratification, then in the dream also he has those impressions, and then those come as enjoyments. He feels like he's enjoying something. So that's the dreaming state. And then there is also this deep sleep state where when the jiva becomes too tired, pursuing senses and sense objects, then the deep sleep comes to his rescue where he doesn't have a dream or anything, but then he's like is in a deep sleep, and even medical doctors say that one should be in deep sleep. It's very essential for like cell rejuvenation and the REM. It's called the REM sleep cycle. Like I forget what exactly stands for, but it's like random some memory sleep. So again, this section talks about the different states and how if one has desires, then he will get some sort of gratification even in the dream state, but then one may not get to the REM sleep. Um, so then finally, in text 45, there's mention of about how the nine gates in the city, and then all these are basically the eyes, nostrils, ears, and mouth. Um, so here, there's a nice Bhagavatam verse that this Prabhu was also referring to, where you may maybe see from this text 45 that these all the features of this body, like the holes, are for the sense enjoyment. One can utilize them however he wants, for like either sense enjoyment or for like pursuing bhakti. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, text 24, Prahlad Maharaj basically pacifies Lord Nrsimhadev by his prayers. And there he says a verse, um, 7, 9, 24. He says, Tasmadamum stanubhritam aham asishognya ayushriyam vibavam aindriyam avirinchad nicchamite vilulitanur vikramena kalatmanopanayamam nijapritya parshvam. So the translation, he says that, O Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, and other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities, from Lord Brahma down to the ant. As powerful time, you destroy them all. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying here that, oh my Lord, I've seen my dad, although he's only like 5 years old, he's speaking like a very senior person here because of observation. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj has seen that his father, Prahlad Hiranyakashipu, was the supreme controller. I mean, by just moving his eyebrows, the demigods would surrender, would report before him, waiting for his order. And then he had his longest longevity. He lived for many, many years. He had so much power. He had the most beautiful queens, mystic powers. He had everything. But they didn't last much long after like Hiranyakashipu, Narasimhadev decided to destroy him. And Prahlad Maharaj saw him getting destroyed in front of his eyes. So that's why he says here that therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. So anything we can do with our senses and any enjoyment, it's very very short lived and would not help us in this life or the next life, as also Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj's prayer is that, my dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant. So that's kind of the main important message from the section, that um, again, our human mind, the material intelligence, makes us different plans, but the enjoyment is only in plan making. Actually, the enjoyment is not in enjoying what we want, because there is no material enjoyment. Um, so, just like in this verse, also there's a mention about like the sleeping slate and sleeping state. So we also were like in sleeping state, but then by the mercy of Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and so many different senior devotees, and through like Srila Prabhupada's Harinam or books and Prasadam, we were also woken up from our state of like sleepiness or the the desire to have material enjoyments. I mean, although we still have it, but at least we know that we should not have material enjoyment desires, and we should rather focus on spiritual um, practices to please the Supreme Lord's senses rather than our senses. So again, we should be so fortunate that we were also woken up, and we, although did not want this process, but we were awarded this process. Again, that's a very fortunate position, and we should appreciate the mercy. And then we are being given this opportunity, so we should utilize this opportunity. And just by reading these sections, we are reminded of how fortunate we are and what we should be doing, and where we should not be diverted. So that's the kind of the message from this section, and we will see more about how Narada Muni explains the different gates of the body, and then how each is located in different directions, and how one should not use them. I mean, of course, the allegorical story will talk about how one uses materially, but then Prabhupada always saves us by saying in the purport how one should not use material senses and in the wrong way. And then there's so much learning coming up in this section as a reminder for all of us. With that, I'd like to conclude the summary.